Welcome back to episode 4 of the Bob and TV podcast, where we're continuing on our conversation with Highland dancer Becky Taggart. Talk to me a wee bit about shutting the gates, the closing the gates thing, the performance you do, because I have to say, like, the first time that I seen that there, like, I was, to say that it was emotional at the end of it would have been an understatement, it was that, because that first performance you did at the MEM, like, I was literally on my feet. Like, you had no sooner finished than I was on my feet. And I literally, there was tears tripping me. I was kind of going, what have I just seen? It was unreal, like, so talk to me a bit about the process that you went through in terms of creating that, but also some of the rationale behind that as a performance.
So all our stuff would kind of be choreographed by Georgina. And she does ask us to choreograph sometimes. Like I choreographed a bit at the end sort of part, the party part.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of practice and it was a lot of trying to figure it out and stuff like that there. So Georgie would sit with the music. So usually it's in the car and you're listening to the music on repeat and on repeat and on repeat. And she had even said that her son Coulter he would have cried because he had heard the song
so many times, aye.
He was like, no, I can't do that anymore. But you need to do that sort of repetitiveness to try and get the beat in your head and to try and figure out what formations and stuff. So it is a lot of fiddling about too. So your first practice is usually trying to find out where to go. Your second practice then is kind of, right, let's try and get the movements in the right order and stuff. And then the last couple of practices is really like nitpicking sort of thing. You need to be there and then you have the practice that you have in the stage and stuff, and you need to figure out where you're going.
Yeah.
So the performance it wasn't in the MEM, it was the second performance that we did.
Was that the Guildhall one or
No,
wasn't the Guildhall? Was that other venue? And it said look there anyway, but I
know it's the name that's gone.
I did the Gallery of Music thing sitting about here somewhere to be able to know, but yes, we know the other venue.
The other venue. Let's just go with the other venue.
We'll put it on the screen.
Yeah, we'll put it on the screen now. But we went in before that and we had taped where you have to be in your lines sort of thing, and then you have to try and figure out when you're standing up. So if you're standing up and you're looking out, what do you see, so to make sure that you're in line? Because you're at the front, you're not going to see the rest of the people at the back. And the rest of the people at the back has to learn to be in line with the person at the front because they can't see. And I especially can't see sometimes, so I just kind of wing it to this point.
Okay.
Because I need glasses for far away. So trying to figure out where I am far away, it's just a mind game.
It is, and I suppose when you have the lighting setup that you had that second performance, it was a slightly different setup the second time around to the first one. How you've actually seen anything in terms of the crowd from the stages beyond me?
No, Glenn, to be fair, I've had issues with lighting before, so this will be a funny story. It is quite a funny story, but I did come off the stage quite in tears. I was like so terrified. So we went to Disneyland in, I think it was 2019, and we did a villain dance. Right. So we couldn't, I'm obsessed with Disney too. Couldn't figure out what I would be. We eventually figured out that it was going to be Venom. Right? Or it was Venom. So I was dressed in a all-one outfit, right? With a mask.
Okay.
So that was a really fun experience for me, right? So I really got into the character and everything. And if you ask any of the group, they do say that we got into the character. But we got onto that stage. Now, you weren't allowed any practice on. You were just thrown on for the choreography stuff. Got onto the stage. Lights reflecting off the reflective. So Venom has these white eyes here. Didn't see a thing the whole entire performance. But we won.
Right.
I came off the stage, so you had to walk off the stage. Right. So I was still walking like this here, and Sophie in front of me had caught on that I couldn't see because I was stumbling kind of off the stage. But I had done the whole dance blindfolded.
Right, oh my goodness, wow.
I came off crying because I was like, I've messed up that whole dance. And Georgie was like, what do you mean? And I was like, I couldn't see the whole thing. She was like, I didn't even realise that you couldn't see because we had practiced it that many times that I knew. So I am quite used to not being able to see. Right. That sounds awful, but that does happen, and I was crying when off that stage thinking I've messed up that whole dance. Right, okay. She wasn't able to tell.
So if we stick a blindfold on you now,
no, don't try. I don't know if it works that way now, Glenn.
It just has to be bright lights.
But I don't know what it was that I was just able to do it. I don't know. Brilliant. I just stayed in the character. Must have been the character thing.
Maybe there's an element of that, in terms
Maybe
of you
there
being
is.
right into because it's,
Yeah.
again, linking in with some of your passions and stuff there. Is there a performance that you've had outside of maybe that one that you're
Okay.
particularly proud of?
That I am proud of.
Yeah, something that you've done or performed somewhere that you've been like, you know what?
I give that all.
That was great.
We've done that many performances. We have done that many performances. So probably when I was younger, we did Dance Craze. This
Right.
is just coming to my head now because I remember how proud I was of myself that I did this. But in Dance Craze there was a part, so I was with the older ones too. As I said, I started with my sister, so I was one of the smaller ones, the older ones. And I had like a wee solo part, so I came out to the front and you do this really clicky thing with your feet.
Uh-huh.
But I was so young and I had practiced it so much, and I remember how proud I was of that there.
Okay.
So I think that would probably be the one. But as I said, we do a lot of performances and stuff. There, the other week, we were in Dublin.
Yeah.
And I thought that was class. I
Yeah.
loved doing Dublin St. Patrick's Day. It was really
It's
good.
good. I've seen some of the videos.
video?
Yeah, I've seen the videos.
No, the video was on the part where it was all rocky and stuff sort of thing. So I don't think that one was my best performance, but the other two when we
Yeah.
did in the flatter sort of ground. Now I still think that I did quite well in that there one, but every time I jumped you could feel the stones going
Yeah.
into your wee shoes.
I see that there's a video attached to the article. It's in the Irish News. I don't know whether you've read there's an article in the Irish News about the visit from the Bonds, and obviously mentions
Yeah.
Solace as well. And there's a video attached there, which is obviously in the courtyard area kind of thing. So it looks great.
Yeah.
And not that I would expect anything less from you, to be honest with you. Do you know what I mean?
Of course.
So what was it like being in Dublin then? Because obviously sometimes you get the impression that our culture and stuff isn't necessarily maybe welcome in other places. So what was the reception like in Dublin?
See, to be honest, where we were, really family orientated, really friendly people, and they were so lovely.
Uh-huh.
They were really lovely to us, and like every time we had danced and we had finished dancing, we would have got a big massive clap because there was loads of people, and they, as I said, they were all family and stuff, and we felt really calm,
Yeah.
and relaxed.
Good stuff.
And then we just got straight out too. There was no traffic either for us going home and getting in.
Happy days.
It was 6:30 in the morning that we had to leave though.
Well,
But it's these things that you do, Graham.
brilliant. And that was all part of it's all part of a longer term kind of connection with Dublin
Hopefully.
in regards to, I know the guys here have been doing a lot of stuff there to try and coordinate with those guys and then promote the kind of understanding of the culture. But you also did something not that long ago as well. You already mentioned a bit about being in London as well. So talk to me about it, because you were dancing in Downing Street, weren't you?
We were dancing on Downing Street. It was quite a strange feeling because I didn't really know I don't know what I was getting in, or what we were doing or anything. We all kind of didn't know what we were doing, but we were like, we're dancing in Downing Street. So we first danced outside the famous Ten Door and stuff like that there. And it was lovely, people arriving and stuff like that there. And then we went inside and you had to leave all your phones and everything downstairs. And then you went upstairs and it was just kind of an old building sort of thing. I don't know what way to describe it, to be honest with you, but we were in a wee room and we were just dancing for different people, and then we had to go and find people to dance with us.
Right.
And they were kind of like, but we were all right, that's okay, just come on ahead. Just come on ahead.
No, you don't know what you're doing, but sure, come on up and have a go
we
at this.
were just like, come on ahead.
And what was that
okay.
for? What was it you were actually doing? What was the purpose of you being there?
What was the purpose of being there? I don't know the actual name for it, Glenn, that you're saying this. And but we were there, so it was kind of the same. I got told it's the same thing that you did for the Taoiseach, but you're doing it for the Prime Minister this time, sort of thing. But he only came in the sort of last sort of wee bit. But he wanted to stay and he wanted to watch and everything, so he was really busy, obviously. And he was told to come on, but him and his wife both they seemed to really enjoy it. And then they give us the chance to speak to him and everything.
Oh, right, okay.
But it was halfway through our dance when I seen this, so we were halfway through our dance and George was all, right, we're gonna stop it now. We just started, me and Emily had just came in and we went, oh, okay. And then we went around and we were speaking to him.
Trying to have a conversation about trying to get your breath and stuff. Yeah. Very good. So that sounds like it's been was absolutely amazing, because obviously I've seen some of the videos and stuff there, and I think, as I kind of go on, really great to see this happen. Really great to see that they're one of the things that I don't always talk about some of the negative aspect, but sometimes whenever we branch out beyond our own kind of, sort of our own sort of areas and things like that, there, not everybody receives things well. How do you kind of handle some of the net? Do you just stay away from that, or has it ever affected you in any shape or form?
I do stay away from it. That is me. I do stay away from it. But I get told that I live in my own wee bubble, sort of thing. So I doesn't really bother me, to be honest with you, Glenn. But I do get told that I live in my own bubble and don't even realise. Like, people ask me questions about anything, I won't be able to answer it. I'm really awful. I won't be able to answer it.
No, but I think that's a wise move, because I know whenever I'd started doing the podcast about bonds, and I know some people had said to me, "You're going to get some flack for this. You're going to get some flack for this," and thankfully it hasn't been that bad. But I've probably taken the same approach. It's like kind of going, I'm just not listening. If I see something, I'm just either going to block it and not get involved with it, because at the end of the day, that's. Yes, they're entitled to their opinion, but I don't have to listen to it. You know what I mean? And that's, that's not like ignorance in any shape or form, but for me, it's like kind of going, it doesn't really serve there's no benefit to me. There's no constructive element to it whatsoever. It's just there to kind of hurt and harm, and that's not really what we're about and stuff. You know what I mean? So one of the things I wanted to ask you, because it's quite obvious from listening to you, just in terms of you are extremely obsessed with this stuff.
Yeah.
Is there anybody who's more obsessed about Highland Dance than you are?
Probably my teachers.
Right?
Probably my teachers. So they teach me, so they need to be obsessed, sort of a thing.
You reckon?
Yeah.
They're not just in it for the money.
No. Not at all. They must be. They have to be obsessed with
this. They hand up the back there, don't they?
I know.
So if you were to pick someone, and I have a fair idea who you might say, but if you were to pick someone out as being the most obsessed out of it, who would
you're going to think Georgina? Yeah.
I'm thinking that might be your cause, all right? So
I would say so.
Yeah. All right, because she eats, sleeps, breathes this stuff, doesn't she?
She does.
Yeah.
That's what she does.
So
she loves that.
Is it fair to say that she's a bit of an inspiration for you?
Yes, probably.
All right.
It probably would, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And how would you, if you were someone had never met her, how would you describe Georgina to them? This is
obviously I know.
Georgina's actually on the phone here. So
I know. Oh, that's a wild awkward question, right? What do we say? She's going to go, how's that awkward? I don't even know how to start. She would be our dance teacher. She would be very welcoming if you are starting first in the dance class, sort of thing. She likes to push us. What do we say? She's very, very creative in ways of doing stuff, yes. And she's very supportive. I would say that.
And would you say that that's had some level of influence on you?
Yeah.
Yeah? In what ways?
In what ways?
Yeah.
Probably pushed me.
Right.
It's pushed me to actually do stuff, and like, as I said, the confidence thing again, there would be things I'm just like, no, please, I'm not doing that there. But she will convince me around doing it. Right. And then I eventually do it, and then I go, do you know what, that really wasn't that bad, to be quite honest with you. It really wasn't that bad. Yeah. And I'm quite glad that she has done that, because I wouldn't be who I am or where I am to this day and age.
She's a great insight into some of the individuals that she works with, though. She kind of almost, like you're saying, she has a great way of picking up on where you might be able to go, and that she's seeing something in her head. And the reason why she's picking you out to do something is because she knows that's the person
that we can do it.
You want you to do that, yeah.
She believes that we can do it, kind of thing,
yeah.
Good
stuff. So, fair to say, extremely obsessed with the Highland dancing thing, yeah?
Fair to say,
yes. Now, you're also a wee bit of an artist outside of the dancing thing as well. Yes. So talk to us a wee bit about that there, because I know for a wee while, I know you're not doing it now, but you have been doing, you've been
doing puzzles and stuff, sort of like that sort of thing.
Talk to us a wee bit about that side of things for you.
Well, I haven't done it in a while, but ever since I was younger, I just always have loved drawing. I always have loved drawing. And then it came, I still have some of my things that my mum has kept because she thought it was just amazing. She just loved all the drawing and stuff.
Yeah.
Came to us, I just don't know how to describe it. It came to about P7 and I got the arts and crafts cup. We had a wee cup for everything. And I had a big class, like there was 38 or something in our class, and there was 40 at one stage.
Right.
And I'd won the arts and crafts cup, and I was like, I actually must be quite good at this sort of thing. And I do love just sitting and doodling and stuff like that there. I've done some logos, I've done some hoodies and stuff.
Right.
I quite like doing the hoodies at the moment. I like doing hoodies. And I also made a comic during lockdown. So something that helped me through lockdown would have been me sitting drawing at the table. Now, the initial drawings was just these big A3 pages, and it was just a Highland Dance sort of thing. So that's another thing Georgina kind of did, is she pushed us during lockdown as well. We did so much during lockdown. Like, so how that came about is she set us a wee task that was, how would you describe the Highland dances sort of thing? So you had to go and research. And I'm usually really bad at history, and I usually hate it. But I've come to discover that I like the art side of the history. So if you put it into, say, like a musical or something, you know, like Six, which is about Henry's 6 wives, I could sit and watch that and I would be able to recite it back to you. But if you put me into a classroom with a book in front of me, I would be like, no, I'm not doing this. I make it into a wee pretty diagram, and then I'll be able to learn it, which is the whole way through school as well.
Yeah.
Secondary school, I was told several times that this is really how you work, isn't it? Is why don't you do a wee Venn diagram sort of a thing? But the lockdown stuff was the A3 pages, and she told us you can do a comic or a stand in front of like a camera or something and talking about it. So I decided to do a comic, and they really, really liked it. I wasn't expecting it at all. They were like, this is amazing. Like, all my wee ideas. I like my wee quirky bits.
Right,
I still love cartoons. I'm just kind of obsessed with cartoons and stuff. So I love all the wee quirky bits.
Sure.
And they got in contact with a proper person that does comics and stuff like that there, and we ended up making the comic, and we handed out all different places, and they seemed to really love it.
And what's the wee comic called? Has it got a name?
It's called A Fling Through Time.
A Fling Through Time.
There's Becky in it too.
All right.
There's Becky in it with Uncle Jimmy.
It's unicorns and all in it, does it?
No. It's so far from it. So I wouldn't really just put unicorns and stuff like that there. I'm not really, really girly. Yeah. Like, when I was younger, I would have watched like Power Rangers, and you know, I would have watched a range of different things, but I loved all the action stuff. Right, so the comics, I think, are more action stuff, and kind of the idea of why they liked it so much is because boys would also like it, and it was trying to encourage them to start dancing as well. Right. So it can be gruesome and stuff. So like the fling is danced. It used to be dancing a round shield with a big spike up the middle. So we have be very careful or else, and then splat, and there's just splat all over the time machine sort of thing that Becky and Uncle Jimmy goes through. And it's just blood all over it sort of thing. But it is, our type of dancing comes from it comes from the warriors and stuff. They're all in battle.
Yeah. So that's obviously the sword dance, etc., and all that kind of stuff is in there. And it's interesting as well. I think you're saying convincing, boys, men to be involved in Highland dance. But it's actually part of the Scottish Army training, isn't it? That they have to be
the whole point of it.
Trained in that.
Yeah, that's why. So Highland dance was actually used for, like, if you were going to get into the army, and used to see their strength, their accuracy, and their agility, which is the very first thing.
Because I remember Georgina telling me about whenever they first started the idea of wanting to dance, that their first instructor was a guy from the army who was teaching them some steps before, before they got the other person who came and started teaching them. So it was always interesting to me. How many blokes are involved in Highland dance now? And,
I have a couple. So there's obviously Stuart, and then there's Lewis, and then I have some of the younger ones. So I actually have got a text message there the other day saying that I might be having a 5-year-old boy starting in here. In with us, I'm going to say 4 or 5. There's not a lot. Yeah. But we're quite a big dance school, so I'm not 100% sure about the other teachers. Where it is, that's where, But that would be just the ones that I can think of at the top of my head right now that is definite in it. Yeah. So I'm going to say about 4 or 5 that I can think of the top of my head.
So you're teaching now as well. And you teach a class in this building, don't you? Yeah. And what's that? How's that going?
Really good.
Yeah.
The new studio was absolutely amazing because over there was all carpet and there was a bit of wire and stuff and it was really cramped. Up here you can literally see at all angles. I love it because you see the reflection of the doors sort of thing, the doors that open up, and then I have the big mirror. And if it gets too warm, then you can put on the fan, and then you're like, oh, I'm cool now. Grand. The only thing is when the parents come in, it seems really loud because it does the room is echoey. Like, I don't have to scream too much because it is loud.
Sure. And how many nights a week are you teaching?
Nearly every night.
Really?
It is nearly every night. So it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I did teach in schools on Thursday. I probably will end up getting another class. Friday I don't usually teach unless I need to do a private lesson or something, and then Saturday I'm in Coleraine. Sunday I tried to take the day off, but our Dublin practices were 3 hours long, so it's not always the day off.
Okay.
It's usually a reset. Let's try and make everything for the rest of the week.
Right, so Highland Dance is becoming 7-day-a-week thing for you?
Yes.
Right.
It is.
Okay.
It is.
And is your friendship group in that kind of scenario, or have you purposely have people who are outside of that?
I have people outside of it as well, sort of thing, and inside. I don't really have a one group that I go to, sort of thing, Glenn. I would just kind of speak to everybody, to be quite honest with you.
Great.
And I do just try to get on with everybody. I don't do the whole any fights or any situations. If there's any situations, I will walk away and just feel I'm really not involved in that.
Yeah.
And be by myself.
So where do you see this in the future? Obviously, you see Highland Dance as a major part of your future, but is it a continuation on of what you're doing now, or do you have some kind of aspiration for what you would like to be doing with it in the future?
Hopefully do some championships and work more on the anxiety when you're competing. That's what the plan is at the moment, for this year anyway. And then hopefully probably still teach and everything, and maybe possibly do a tattoo or two.
Right, okay.
Hopefully.
Right.
Still do the bit of the performance sort of thing.
Uh-huh.
But I do intend to keep it going for another wee while yet anyway, and I don't see it going anywhere.
Right. So that was my next question, was if for whatever reason you couldn't do Highland Dance,
what would I do instead?
What would you do instead?
I have no idea what I would do instead. I knew you were going to ask me this question, and I was going, I have absolutely no idea what I would do instead. I really don't know.
But I think that's the right answer, though, isn't it?
I know, because that's when you know you're obsessed. I really don't know what I would do or where I'd be.
It really is for me, that really is the right answer. Like, I don't see anything else outside of that, you know what I mean? And I think for me, whenever I look at some of the stuff that I've been involved in, I'm like, kind of go, well, I know what I might want to do, and it's like kind of going, even now, because even now when people, it's strange when people may listen to this, but you know, where I used to be completely and utterly obsessed with bands and being out and stuff now, it's not as much of that thing for me now. Do you know what I mean? You know, if I missed a parade, it used to be the end of the world. Whereas now it's kind of like, well, if I miss a parade, I have to potentially miss the parade because, you know, something's on kids' ways, there's something else that's coming on involved with that. And it doesn't cut me up as much as it used to. I would like to think, you know, but it's almost like, you know, I could definitely go, you know what, if I couldn't play the flute tomorrow, I know I've got 101 other things that I know that I could potentially, you know, get involved in, you know, writing and other forms of music and stuff like that there. But so it's good that you're still in that spot and that it's the only gig in town, you know. So that's so great. So what I'm gonna do now, right, is I'm gonna put you to the test here, Becky. All right, so this is so Georgina or anybody else that's watching this here, we are going to put you on a wee bit of a Highland Dance quiz. So sorry, folks, I have this on my phone here or whatever else, but we're going to actually see. Let's see how far this obsession actually goes. All right.
I'm really bad with quizzes and stuff. Okay.
Yeah, but don't feel under any pressure here. All right. So like, the first one is, what is the origin of Highland Dance?
What do you mean?
So where does it originate, or how did it come about, if you know?
Scotland. Scotland? I'm going to say
It is indeed. All right, so it is. It originates.
I thought it was going to be a trick question.
No, I'm not that. You know what I mean? Yep, it does originate in Scotland with its roots tracing back the ancient Celtic traditions.
Celtic
So there we go.
traditions.
Name, now, if you don't get this here, you need to leave the room. You will need to leave the room.
Okay.
Right? Name 3 traditional Highland dances.
Okay. Fling, swords, chantruse. And swords is always also called the gilly kiln.
So give us those again there.
The fling, swords, and chantruse.
Right, okay.
The swords is also called the gilly kiln.
And that's exactly what I have here. All right, all right. Now, what is the significance of the Highland fling? What does it symbolize?
What does it symbolize? It usually, there's several different things to be fair. So I'm going to say it's used as a celebratory dance. So usually at the end of a battle, they would have done the fling to say that they won.
There we go.
This is my comic thing. This isn't just right in
here. Now here's one.
Okay.
Right? Now this one may
This'll be a hard one,
so in what year did the Scottish official board of Highland dancing standardise the competition rules?
Oh, that's a bad question. I have no idea, to be quite honest with you. Are you going to go with a generational thing? Is it in the...
Go, give it a guess. Go. Where do you think?
Is it in the 70s? 1970s?
No, it was 1950.
Oh, 2 generations.
There we go. So there we are. Now, what are the basic steps of the Highland fling?
Basic steps?
Yeah.
The shedding.
Right.
That one, is this the kind of names that I'm thinking of? Right, okay, that's one. The shedding, there's toe heel.
Right.
Crossover. I'm just going to say last, but it's shedding again.
Okay, there you go. So down what I have down is step, hop, and back step.
Oh, step, hop, and back step. There's back steps on it, yeah, but...
there you go. Maybe I'm completely wrong.
Maybe, yeah, no, back steps, I wouldn't say it was basic, but yeah. What was it?
Now, this is a cracker now, all right?
Is this going to be the first woman?
Yeah, no. Well, who was the first woman?
I know the name too, but it's gone out of my head because I remember doing the thing.
All right, okay. So is this the one, Margaret Allen? No, the personally preserved Highland dance of the 19th century, you know?
It might have been.
All right, but here's what you should get. You should get this one, no problem.
Please tell me.
Different categories of Highland dance competitions.
Different categories. You've got your primary, beginners, novice, intermediate, and premier.
And is there another one up?
Championship.
There we go. That's it. Now, this is, I'll end with this one because I did end up going for, what is the significance of the number of layers in a Highland dancer's costume, particularly in relation to the kilt?
I don't even know how to answer that. I go, does it look good on you? Yes, I like that colour. That sounds great.
So apparently, it is to do with clan affiliation and status within the Scottish society, apparently.
I suppose, yes, if you're wearing a kilt. But we go with it, does it look the right colour on you sort of thing. Like my clan, the Becky Taggart, is this ugly green one that I don't like. No, it's not that ugly, but it's not me kind of kilt for competing in. So I go for red. That's what my most recent one is red. It's probably my last one too. I'm not going anymore. I've stopped.
Right, okay.
Not that I grew any much. Anyway, quite small.
So the other one I had was, who was Dr. J.C. Reid, and what contribution?
J.C. Reid.
Yeah. So apparently
must be something with the Reid.
Yeah, apparently he's some figure in Highland dance history, known for his research, teaching, and promotion of the art form. So I think you've done.
I think I did quite
pretty well there, sorted. So a wee bit of a test at the end, not just to see where things are at. So, Becky, if you were trying to convince someone to try your passion out, what is it you would say to them to try and get them involved, or at least give it a go?
At least give it a go. Oh, what would I say to them? I would probably say, have a wee look at what we have done so far, and then have a wee think of your origins and stuff, and maybe something if maybe your family member had done it before, and you can't knock it until you try it. You just need to try it.
There we go. Brilliant. So, Becky, thanks very much for being on Bob and Two
Thank
Beat.
you very much.
Absolutely delighted to have had you on, and it's obviously clear that you've filled your life with this. It's become the absolute obsession of your life, and I'm absolutely delighted to know you, and delighted to have the opportunity for you to share some of that passion with whoever may be watching this podcast or listening in. So thank you very much for being
Thank you very
involved.
much for having me, Glenn. I've really enjoyed it.
Not a problem at all.
Thank you.
Alrighty, folks, so there you go. That's the end of episode 2 of the Bob and 2B podcast. I think you'll agree. It's evident that, you know, just in terms of listening to Becky talk there about her obsession with Highland dance, you know, that she absolutely has, you know, crammed her life full of that, and it's actually done a hell of a lot for her own personal well-being, but just in terms of taking her places and achieving things in her own life. So make sure you join us on the next episode, and until then, look after yourselves and take it easy.